diabetic. I'm insulin dependent, but I love to travel the world. But how do you travel on trains and planes, on buses and taxis and tuk-tuks with the insulin? It's not that it's heavy or bulky to carry. The fact is that you have to keep it cold all the time. But how do you do that? Keep following this video. Traveling with your diabetic tablets is of course no problem, because many people all over the world travel with their medication. I would advise you to keep these tablets in the original packaging. Place these boxes in a see-through plastic bag and keep your doctor's prescription with the medication. That is just to prevent any confusion or suspicion of drugs, especially at airports. Traveling with insulin is of course a different ballgame, because your insulin has to be kept cold. If it's not kept cold, it becomes less effective and will not control your blood sugar levels. When insulin goes down or less effective, I would describe it as milk going sour. I've experimented and placed this insulin outside in direct sunlight for a few days. The problem is that this insulin does not discolor, so you do not know when it is down or bad. It is therefore so important that you keep it cold all the time while you travel. I place my insulin in a cooler bag. I also place in some frozen ice packs to keep the temperature down, especially for long travels or long flights. I've never experienced any problems when I pass security at the airports with my insulin, because most security personnel has knowledge of insulin. I would however advise you to keep it in the original package with your prescription, just to prevent any confusion. Most airlines does not allow insulin to be kept in the refrigerator in the galley of the aircraft. The reason for that is that refrigerator is to store food. They do not want to mix the medication with the food. It is therefore advisable that you go prepared with your own ice pack and cooler bag. Remember to keep your insulin and your medication with you in your carry-on bag, and do not pack it in your check-in bag. When you have a long layover at the airport, go to a restaurant or a chemist on the airport and ask them if they can refrigerate your insulin. Where possible, try to refreeze your ice packs. When you book your accommodation abroad, make sure that there's a refrigerator available so that you can keep your insulin cool and maybe refreeze your ice packs. When you travel a long distance with a bus or a taxi, make sure that you keep the insulin close to the air conditioner just to keep the temperature down. Why does some diabetics need to inject themselves with insulin? Well, it's basically because the pancreas doesn't create that insulin that's necessary to break down the sugar levels in your bloodstream. Remember that sugars in the bloodstream is not only caused by sweets, but it's mainly by the carbohydrates that's in the foods that you eat. This insulin breaks down the sugars so that it can control the sugar levels of your bloodstream. If you do not control your sugar levels, it can cause serious medical conditions. That is heart attacks, strokes, blindness, amputation, even death. It is therefore so important that you manage and control your sugar levels at all times. When traveling abroad, it's not only important to maintain and keep your insulin cool, it's also important to manage your diet, eat low carbohydrate foods, even in that foreign countries. Keep a sweet on hand when your sugar level drops, because too low sugar levels can cause major issues and even hospitalization. So when you travel as a diabetic, make sure that you manage your insulin. Also check your diet for that low carbs. Go travel and see the world. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.